indeed. And look, a Christmas miracle it is. He's in the studio. He pulled off a victory. He's a Marine. He's a sheriff-elect of Washington Parish. It is none other than Jason Smith. Jason, welcome back to the show, sir.
Thanks. Great to be here.
First of all, because you won the election the way you did, my God, golf clap in order, first of all. So, man, just take us through it. Like, I want to know. I've never gotten elected. So, I want to know that feeling. So, if you share with us, like, first of all, I texted you a few times that night. I had already figured out when 25% of the voter turnout had already been reported, like, from 25 precincts, I knew you'd won. Like, you had a substantial lead, and you weren't returning any text that night. Was your phone blowing up that night?
Yeah, the phone hasn't stopped since Saturday. I mean, really, it's been busy all since Saturday, leading into the results, and then since Saturday, just hasn't stopped. I mean, you can't even touch it. It's just warm all day long. No, but it was good. You know, we were confident going into it based off the results of the first round. And
no butterflies? Like, you didn't think,
No. It's one of those things, like, I'm trying to come up with a good metaphor. I've tried to explain this in a different way, but you know, in the last seconds of a close basketball game when the teams are coming out of a timeout, you know, the guys going onto the court are probably the least nervous people in the building because they have too much to focus on. It's all the people in the stands that can't affect anything. They're the ones biting their fingernails and are very nervous about the outcome. So
gotta say I was.
There was a lot of things to do. We had a huge event on Saturday. It was a great energy. A lot of people came out, and so there was just a lot of logistical things to get done for that. In some ways, it was good therapy because it took your mind off of just waiting. Waiting is the most difficult part for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a good event. I'm very thankful to everybody that came out. I think it was a good time.
Yeah, no, it looked like a beautiful event. Jordan Dalton right here, our very own Jordan Dalton, was teared up and almost cried at your victory speech. Okay.
Well, no, it was there was somebody that got up and spoke. I'm not sure who that was, and
Nick
I was
Smith.
like, yeah, and I was like, oh, yep, that one got me, because I had an event Saturday, and he was like keeping me posted, you know, because I couldn't exactly be on my phone. I was like, yes, and like I'm in Covington, and there's people like from out of town. They're like, what is it? And I was like, I don't even know how to explain.
Yeah.
No, that's really the humbling part of it is that, you know, I'm kind of the point man for this movement of change in Washington Parish.
Yes.
But I'm only the point man. There's so many people that have supported us and have rooted for us and risked their reputation by vouching for us and putting our signs up and donating money and time and resources.
Jordan Dalton
really
is one of these people.
No, it's more than a team effort. People are invested in what we're doing, and it's really humbling.
And the large signs. Remember, Jordan, the one you had in your yard? The billboard, Jason Smith.
Yeah.
So I love this guy, right? Listen to what he already posted on social media after he became sheriff-elect. He put out there that you've already picked up, 50.3% or 50.8% of all your large signs already. And first of all, he's just cleaning up after
thank you for harvesting your
election.
signs.
Yeah, reharvesting those signs. And you're going to repurpose those, I would imagine. I mean, those are still good for, forever. And the shelf life, if you're going to run for office again, I'll ask you right now, first of all, you going to seek a second term?
Yeah, we're gonna stick around until the job is done. So
okay, yeah.
I'm not tying myself to any number of terms.
There you go. That's probably a smart move. Some sheriffs, they put it out there and it turns into a lie later. So this is however long it takes for you, man. You're already. I mean, look. I hate to say it, nobody's told you already. You're already doing a hell of a job, man. You're picking up the signs after yourself. God, that was like a dream. Like I've talked about this on this show.
Yeah.
Like, and there's still some people who lost, and their election signs are still out there.
Well, one of the things I tried to talk about in the remarks on Saturday night was that our political opponents during this campaign, they don't exist anymore. You know, for all of the effort and the stress of the campaign, it was all over with on Saturday night. So we're drawing a line under it, and now it's time to focus on what's coming up.
Yeah.
And what's coming up is not a long celebration. We're not going to talk about the election. It already seems like 1,000 years ago in a lot of ways. The last few days have been very busy, but it's all about setting up meetings and looking up, about talking about what's to come.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll get into what's to come, but I mean, you did it brilliantly. I mean, you were running for since January, right? I mean, you kind of ran for the whole year just about. Is that right?
We made the decision to run probably at this time last year, when we finally said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And so we spent the last part of last year kind of putting some plans down and thinking about how to get organized. We started in earnest probably in January, where I started to reach out to some people, influencers, and people with some expert knowledge about how do we do this. And then we announced publicly in February.
Yeah.
But it's been busy since about this time last year.
Well, and not only that, he's highly intelligent. He advertised on this radio station, and you advertised you started 4 months
TC
ago.
trying to take credit for
Oh,
everything.
no, wait, hold on.
This is
Jordan, I'm
Hold
sure
on.
you'd have to deal with this
Mark.
every day.
It is a TC Mark.
Okay, but I will take a little credit because
People like that guy won a Grammy because of our show.
no,
Yes.
I didn't say that.
Yes.
All
yes.
roads
Say it.
lead to Cat Country.
It was a Grammy nominee.
No, all roads lead to
It was a
TC.
It was a Grammy nomination. To your point, but my point is, no, you did. I just want to thank you for letting me be a part of it, creating your radio commercial, right? And then he took that radio commercial. I hit the microphone because I'm so excitable, right? But I did that commercial, and you used it on other radio stations, and I was flattered. I was like, that's great, so good. And you advertised for what? You started back in August with us. See, that's smart, man.
Smart.
You kind of. But let me ask you, on all your goals that y'all set out to do.
So the lesson here is it was smart for me to listen to TC, right?
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
TC has led a lot of people,
yeah.
and
He's a one-man movement.
yes, he is. He is.
If I'm
Yes.
lucky, depending on what day it is, we'll see. Okay, so, but Jason, did you hit all the goals y'all set out to achieve?
Yeah, our goal was really to get elected, but the goal is, in some ways, it wasn't to get elected. It is to be the sheriff. I think we're on the verge of being able to change a lot of things.
Yeah.
Being elected was the first phase. It's the big accomplishment is you got to get elected in order to make the
Well,
change.
Jason,
and now we're beyond that.
You're so modest. You're so modest. You didn't just get elected. You got the people elected the hell out of you in Washington Parish. You got more votes than a lot of people even running for statewide offices. Did you see your vote tally? How it's over 7,300, right? Was that the final number?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. I mean, did you ever think you were going to get that many votes?
No, I thought when we sat down and started thinking about how many votes it's going to take, that was one of the encouraging things. Is I thought if we could get 7,000 votes, could get our foot in the door. It's hard to get in a place like St. Tammany. It's hard with the amount of votes that you have to capture. It's really hard to reach all those people. But in a place like Washington Parish, if you think, okay, 7,000 votes is what it's going to take, I've got to be able to convince enough people that what we're doing is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was manageable.
And look, he's sheriff-elect. He's already out there looking for his campaign signs to pick them back up, repurpose, recycle. His incumbent opponent that he ran against is still out there looking for 2,500 votes.
Well, he went out to pick up those because you said something
I did not.
a couple
All right,
months ago.
stop. No,
and
come on.
So he listened to you
Right.
and took your advice, which any smart man
Yeah.
or woman
Right.
would take TC's
Right.
advice.
Right. So, I mean, you beat Country Seal by more than 2,500 votes, or around that much. Did he call you? Did he reach out after the numbers were in?
I spoke to him yesterday, and he assured me that we were going to have a seamless transition. He's got some people that are working through the logistics and the details of that, so we've kind of started that already.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, now I'm going to tell you something, okay? I mean, I know it's not just us, but I had a guy yesterday. He came to this building, and first thing he says, I heard y'all got Jason Smith elected. I was like, damn, hell yeah, we did. But I'm just glad to be a part of it. I know it wasn't just us, Jason. I
That
know.
was actually TJ.
I'm sorry, Sheriff.
TJ. That was actually TC's alter ego that came to this building.
No, it wasn't. This is a real person. It's a
him looking
real
in the mirror.
world. No, I'm doing the mirror exercise.
Daily affirmations.
Yes.
Jason didn't win the election by his own.
Yeah.
Jason won the election by us. That's the mirror exercise
Yes,
today.
yes, very good.
Okay, so Jason, when do you swear in?
1 July.
Oh, really? Okay, so July 1st. Why so long? Why can't they do start of the new year?
Well, because the sheriff in Louisiana is a tax collector in most of the parishes, and so we'll collect property tax. The office collects property taxes here at the end of the year. They settle all the late notices and things. And
Right.
then the sheriff has to turn over a financially sound office, and so there's some assets that may have to be sold or debt that needs to be refinanced or assumed. So we'll just work through all that financial piece of it so that on 1 July we're ready to go.
Yeah, and a lot of people forget that the role of the sheriff really is all about tax collection.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and I love the fact that you are changing the culture out there by not being law enforcement. You're going into the office, you're doing your job, which is tax collection. Law enforcement second, right? I mean, that's kind of the way you look at it, and I like that
Aren't
because
you're going to take a
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons, or one of the benefits of waiting until July. It's going to give me some time to go to the Post Academy. We reached out to the Academy yesterday for all the registration information.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're working through getting ready for that.
you got to do a little boot camp like Police Academy.
Yeah, I mean, it'll give me the opportunity to see the world through the same lens that the deputies see the world. Because we're going to require them to do some things that most agencies wouldn't do, and so it'll be good.
Wow, you looking forward to that?
Very much.
Yeah?
Very much.
What was your rank in the Marines, by the way?
Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel. Look at Lieutenant Colonel now. Sheriff of Washington Parish. He's elect. He will assume office July 1st.
Don't forget the parentheses. It's sheriff-elect in parentheses.
Yeah, and we don't want to give you a nickname in parentheses and quotes at all either, too. That's the downfall.
I think he wants TC in parentheses.
Okay, no. All right. So, but man, we were there in spirit. We didn't make it out that night, but it looks like y'all had a wonderful election night. God, I mean, how many kids do you have now? Like, Jesus, like
5 kids.
5 kids. All right. So I saw them all in there. How are they feeling now about like Dad's sheriff now?
They're great. I think there's a sense of relief in some ways from them.
Thank God the election's over.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a new phase now, so it's not any less busy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the last 2 days are any indication, it's not going to be any less busy, but it is going to be a little bit different.
We'll say, okay, so before July 1st, anything coming from you, what's next? Anything before July 1st? You really can't do much until...
No, I've already had meetings. There's some things that will have to happen that the sheriff is not necessarily responsible for, but the sheriff has influence over. There's some people that will take their new positions. You know, we've got all of the elected officials will essentially get installed on the 1st of January or, in the first part of January. So there are some things that I'd like to see done. So it's my job now to convince them that, hey, I'm not there yet, but these are the things that if we are all going to work together, we'd like to see some of these things happen. So I've got actually a meeting later on this afternoon with some of that. It's all good.
Okay. Jordan, any questions?
No, I'm just elated for Washington Parish, and congratulations to you.
Yeah, it really is so awesome. So if anybody, I think you're an inspiration, really, to a lot of people out there. I mean, obviously over 7,000 people.
At least TC.
And me, you got my vote. But if anybody ever wants to run for office, what words of advice would you impart?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't know that I really thought about that.
Thank you. It is an interesting question.
Because I don't know that... I think one of the reasons that we were successful is not because we were just running for office, but because we were running for this office at this time in this location, if that makes sense. Every office is not the same. Everybody's circumstances are not the same. I was able to recognize that my circumstances and Washington Parish's circumstances kind of were together. Mm-hmm. Like there was an opportunity to make the change, and we just had to take advantage of the opportunity. So I don't know that I would recommend people just running for office as
or rolling for office,
any of it.
Yeah.
But you understand my point is that every office is different. Whether you're talking about an executive position or legislative position, parish council to state senate, there's so many different variables that it's difficult for me to say.
So right place,
run for office. You got to run for a particular office for a particular reason.
I also did see one of the biggest things I saw in your campaign was perseverance. You never backed down, and you stood for what you believe in the entire time, and I think that makes a world of difference.
Well, I appreciate that.
I loved when you would do your video diaries every day on Facebook.
Perseverance.
Facebook Live, and I love my favorite moment from your campaign is when you said, "Hey y'all, Jason Smith here. Just want to let you know, I'm not going to go to your football games. You're not going to see me out there." I was like, I'm just not going. That was so good. But explain that tactic. It worked. I mean, people related to you. So
and I think that is one of the things that we wanted to do when we set out. We wanted to be as genuine as possible. One of my frustrations with politicians is they have a reputation of not being genuine, telling people what they think that the people want to hear. And if there's no substance behind a person, then you're not going to get anything out of them. So we thought, hey, we're going to try to do the best we can and be as genuine as possible and let the chips fall where they may. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but that's not what we're in it for. We're in it to see if what we're selling is something worth buying.
Yeah, that's so good. Really is. We wanted you to take a victory lap here this morning, Jason. So, if there's any words that you want to get out to maybe all your supporters and maybe listeners out there, we could do, a little Hey North Shore moment for you. Like, hey North Shore, Jason Smith got elected, but you do have to start with Hey North Shore.
Or Washington Parish.
Yeah, Washington Parish, yeah. And but if you don't start with Hey North Shore, Hey Washington Parish, we're going to have to escort you out of the building, Sheriff. Okay, just saying. You ready for this? Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, Washington Parish. I'm Jason Smith, your sheriff-elect. I can't tell you how much I appreciate all the support we've gotten over the last year. The time is now for a change. I've said help is on the way. I've said enough is enough, and now is the time to deliver. We've got some meetings set up. There'll be a lot of information that comes out about the transition process and about what you can look forward to on 1 July. But I promise you, everything that I've got, all the energy that I've got is going to be single-minded towards this purpose of making Washington Parish better, and I can't wait to get started.
Yeah, very good.
Solid.
He's inadvertently making this region a better place
Absolutely.
to live. So thank you, Jason, for that. What about the inspiring story of how every vote counts? Did you follow that news story? What's his name? I think it's Hawthorne or Whitehorn, and he's a sheriff in Caddo Parish now.
Yeah,
Lex.
unfortunately, my phone has been overloaded. So if you're out there and you're listening and you sent me a comment or a message on Facebook or a text message and I haven't got back to you, I'm still working through them all. That is one of the stories that's been sent to me, but that is unbelievable. It comes down to one vote.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
So see, I knew it. He's had his phone off since Saturday night. I knew this. I knew it, Jason. Yeah, that is. I'm loving this story. The
It's all
latest.
about making TC feel
It's
better.
because you didn't message TC
right.
back.
Jason, just allow me to be your cell phone for a second. Okay, I'm going to Google this.
I'm
for
gonna
you,
actually
all right,
just
buddy?
leave. He can be the J of TC and J.
Okay, all right. TC and Jason in the morning. That's the new show. Okay, so but no, Caddo Parish never in their history elected a black sheriff. A black sheriff wins by one vote. Now, the latest is they are going to recount, I think, the mail-in ballots. So he could still lose it, but still an amazing story already. And it's one of those, he's going against, kind of like your story, he's going against a 24-year incumbent, and he won by one vote. And that should just tell you, not an electoral vote, folks. One single solitary person made a difference. And I think all
Just think of all the TCs in Caddo Parish that are claiming victory as their personal result.
Yeah, but they're doing it in a worse accent. So, oh, that Shreveport accent. Oh, boy. Okay, but Jason, again, congratulations. Double golf clap today.
Glock.
Just double Glock.
Gosh.
Yeah. Now, Jason, are you going to put up a framed picture of yourself in your office, like brandishing firearms or something like that?
That's going to be very low on my list of things to do.
Very good.
Well, if you do, let us have a copy, and we'll put it in here next to TC's art, as you can see,
Right.
displayed all over the walls.
Jason, you're my greatest work of art. Thank you. First of all, it's hard to make this guy laugh, and we got that this morning. I don't know if y'all heard that, but that was a laugh from Jason.
And TC did it.
Right, Jason, you're so awesome. We're part of the fan club. You do have to make a campaign promise to come on this show at least once a month so that the folks from Washington Parish and the heart of Cat Country can hear you.
No, I think that we can do that. We definitely want to get the word out about the things we're doing and be transparent as possible. So
Awesome. Okay, so thank you for coming in today, Jason. We're gonna take a break. Jordan's gonna be doing our news feature coming up. So much more, and thanks so much to everyone who got out and voted in Washington Parish. Keep listening to TC and J in the AM right here, only on Cat Country 98.9.